Okay, you want the insight? Fast. You're definitely in the right place. We're doing a deep dive today into Operation Sindoor. That's India's uh, big response to that awful terror attack in Pahalgam.
Yeah, we've been digging through the reports, the analysis, trying to piece together the key details and, the different viewpoints on this whole thing.
Exactly. Our mission here is just to understand what went down, maybe why it went down, and what the ripples might be. It really all kicked off with that terrible attack April 22nd by Zern Valley near Pahalgam.
That's right. Around what, 2:45 p.m.? Tourists were clearly the target. We're talking at least 26 people killed, mostly Indian tourists, but also, tragically, a Nepali citizen. And a local man, a pony ride operator who tried to help, he was also killed. Just awful.
Just horrific. And initially there was a claim of responsibility, wasn't there, from the resistance front, TRF.
Yes, TRF, which many believe is basically a front for Lashkar-e-Taiba. But then, interestingly, they retracted that claim pretty quickly.
Which makes you wonder, right? Some analysts are saying maybe there was pressure, behind the scenes to pull that back.
It definitely adds another layer.
And the name India chose for the response.
Yeah.
Operation Sindoor. Sindoor being the vermilion worn by married Hindu women. Given the context of the attack, the symbolism there is pretty potent.
Incredibly potent.
Yeah.
And even before the strikes, India took some pretty firm non-military actions. They suspended participation in the Indus Waters Treaty talks, revoked visas, kicked out diplomats, closed the border and airspace near Pakistan.
Sending very clear signals right away.
Absolutely.
Okay, so then came the operation itself, Operation Sindoor. What was the official justification from India?
Well, the stated reasons were twofold. Retaliation for Pahalgam, obviously, but also to dismantle terrorist infrastructure. They really emphasized that it was meant to be, quote, focused, measured, and non-escalatory, avoiding civilian and Pakistani military targets.
Focused and measured.
Ah.
And the timing, it was overnight, wasn't it?
Yeah, early morning, May 7th. Started around 1:00 a.m. local time, lasted maybe 25 minutes, give or take.
And they hit 9 locations, alleged terrorist camp.
9 locations, that's what India reported. Spread out some in Pakistan proper, like Bahawalpur, Muridke, Sialkot, and others in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, Bimber, Kotli, Muzaffarabad.
So quite widespread. How do they say they carried out the strikes?
They mentioned using precision missiles launched from Indian airspace. Plus, fighter jets were conducting battle drills near the border, sort of a show of force, perhaps. India stressed they had credible intelligence linking these sites directly to terror groups, including the ones behind Pahalgam. And they said they briefed key global powers beforehand.
And again, that name Sindoor. Reports suggest it was personally chosen at the highest level, really tying it back to the victims of the Pahalgam attack.
It underscores that symbolic connection, definitely.
Now, Pakistan's reaction, predictable perhaps, but still very strong.
Oh, absolutely. Strong condemnation. They called it an act of war, vowed a response. But the picture they painted was drastically different from India's.
Completely different. Pakistan reported, what, significant civilian casualties and damage to civilian buildings?
Yeah, they claimed at least 26 civilians killed, many more injured. And they talked about damage to mosques, even a hydroelectric dam in Polk. Also, big claims about shooting down multiple Indian jets, maybe 3 to 5, including Rafales, and capturing an Indian drone and soldiers.
Claims which India didn't immediately confirm regarding the jets being shot down, though they did acknowledge some crashes had happened.
Right. And alongside that, reports of heavy shelling across the line of control. Both sides, of course, blamed the other for starting it and claimed to have inflicted casualties. It got messy really fast.
And we saw some of that. Well, information warfare too, right?
Yeah.
Claims of Pakistani retaliatory strikes popping up online that were later debunked.
Exactly. A lot of conflicting information, some deliberate misinformation likely mixed in. It makes getting a clear picture really difficult.
So how did the rest of the world react to all this?
Largely with concern, as you'd expect. The UN, US, China, Russia, UAE, France, Japan, all calling for calm, for de-escalation.
But not universal condemnation of India's action.
Not entirely. Israel came out quite strongly supporting India's right to self-defense. On the other side, Turkey reportedly expressed solidarity with Pakistan, and groups like the International Crisis Group were saying this escalation actually felt more serious than the Balakot crisis back in 2019.
So looking at the immediate fallout, what does this mean for India-Pakistan relations? Seems pretty dire.
It's a major escalation, no doubt. Tensions are incredibly high. You've got the treaty participation suspended, diplomats expelled, borders and airspace closed. It puts enormous strain on already fragile relations.
And raises the risk of, well, something bigger, a larger conflict.
That's the fear. It increases the risk of miscalculation, of a dangerous tit-for-tat cycle. And beyond the security implications, there are economic ones, too. Pakistan's stock market took a hit, for instance. Regional stability is definitely shaken.
So longer term, what are the implications here?
Well, it potentially sets a new precedent for how India might conduct cross-border counterterrorism operations. Operation Sindoor is, without question, a significant event with potentially profound consequences.
It really drives home the need for de-escalation, doesn't it? For diplomacy, for trying to address the root causes of this long-running conflict. And for us as observers, it highlights how crucial it is to be critical of information, to verify sources, especially when things are moving so fast.
Absolutely critical.
So maybe the final thought to leave you, the listener, with is this. When you have two nuclear-armed neighbors operating in this environment of heightened geopolitical tension and, frankly, rampant information warfare, and you see an event like Operation Sindoor unfold with such starkly opposing narratives, what does that really mean for long-term stability in the region? Something to really think about.